Welcome to the Straightforward Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results and Superstar spoilers. And there was no dark match after the main event on Raw. And to start off the show, as normal, some WWE news. WWE advertising yet another display of Vicky Guerrero's evidence that she claims offers proof of an affair involving John Cena and AJ Lee. She claimed that the evidence comes from an anonymous source. WWE NXT head trainer Bill DeMott turned 46 on Saturday. He was born November 10th, 1966. DeMott wrestled as Hugh Morris. He also served as a trainer on the WWE Tough Enough series. WWE Hall of Famer Bob Orton Jr. turned 62 on Saturday. He was born November 10th, 1950. He is the father of Randy Orton. The former WWE wrestler Billy Gunn, a.k.a. Monty Sock, turned 49 years old on Saturday. He was born November 11th. In 1963, he has done some work as an agent at the NXT training facility, but he was not a full-timer in that role at last check. Well, okay. It should have been, November 11th was Sunday, though. Okay, former WWE performer Crystal Marshall turned 29 years old on Sunday. She was born November 11th, 1983. She split with hubby Bobby Lashley. That part I did not know. Former WCW wrestler Van Hammer, a.k.a. Mark Hildreth, turned 45 on Sunday. He was born November 11th, 1967. Disco Inferno. Glenn Goldberg is 44 years old on Monday. He was born November 12, 1968. Disco is living in Las Vegas and is working as a security guard at the present time. Former WWE developmental standout Matt Capelli turned 33 years old on Monday. He was born November 12, 1979. He and John Morrison won the WWE contract on the third season of Tough Enough. He was forced out of the ring due to a malignant brain tumor. Former ECW wrestler Elektra, a.k.a. Donna Adamo, turned 42 years old on Monday. She was born November 12, 1970. Former WWE performer Lena Yata turned 34 years old on Monday. She was born November 12, 1978. Busted Open Satellite Radio Show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Hall of Famer, hosted by Dave LaGreca and Doug Mortman. Airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Sirius 92 and XM 208 from 2 to 4 Eastern Time. Visit Facebook.com/Busted Open for more info. And here's what they spoke about. They asked him if he could ever be medically cleared to wrestle again. And he said it's not even about being cleared. I'm 100% fine. Once I had my fusion done in 2000, and I went into the recovery phase, and then I got back into the ring. Everything was fine and dandy. I was just running too hard towards the end and had a few issues. It was time to get out. Passing the physical isn't an issue anymore. And he was asking if CM Punk is the only guy he would come back for to wrestle. And he's quoted by saying, I think John Cena would be a guy as well. I really like John. He is the face of that company right now. And he has done a hell of a job, and I got a lot of respect for him. You look at guys like Triple H. That was one of my favorite guys to work with in the ring. Such a ring general and such a pro. Just an easy night at the office. Undertaker is kind of beat to shreds. Kind of like me. Those would be a few guys off the top of my head. Would it just be Punk? Oh, give me a hell no. Is CM Punk at the top of the list? Yes. Oh, hell yes. Chris Wells and AJ Jama are at the WWE Raw show in Columbus, Ohio, and we're posting the Superstar spoilers. Match number 1, they said Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal defeated the Uso brothers. Back and forth match with a very little crowd reaction. Slater got the win for his team with a DDT. Match number 2, Great Khali defeated JTG. He won with a chop. And now for your Raw results from the USA Network, live from Columbus, Ohio at the Nationwide Arena. The show opened with a John Cena narrated video for Veterans Day. A previously on Raw segment recapped recent storylines and previewed this show. Randy Orton's music played, and he headed to the ring as Michael Coleslaw introduced the show on commentary along with JR Barbecue. And they hyped the CM Punk versus John Cena main event. I assumed the show would open with the return of Jerry the King Lawler. It was a wise move to save it for later rather than give it away right off the top. But the second hour was really boring, as it took like 45 minutes of non-wrestling action. That's just my opinion. Though the announcers should have been making a big fuss over Lawler's return. Match number 1, Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler had the bulk of the early offense. Orton came back with a hanging DDT, the draping DDT, and then struck the Viper's pose. Alberto Del Rio came out and stood on the ring apron. Orton went after him. Dolph went for his finisher, but Orton avoided it and rolled him up for the win. And the match took 3 minutes, 20 seconds out of our lives. After the match, Railroad Rodriguez jumped onto Orton's back for the distraction. Del Rio and Ziggler joined the attack. Kofi Kingston ran out to make the save and helped Orton clear the heels from the ring. Teddy Long came out and said Vicky Guerrero was apparently busy with her investigation. He booked a tag match on the spot. So we get match number 2, Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Ricardo at ringside. Alberto Del Rio, Ricardo Rodriguez. They went to an early commercial break. After the break, the heels were getting the better of Kingston. He made the hot tag to Orton at 6 minutes 30 seconds. Just as Del Rio tagged in, Orton performed a power slam from an innovative position. Kofi tagged back in and hit Del Rio with a high crossbody for a 2 count. He followed up with SOS and had the 3, but Ziggler broke it up. He was a bit late, and the referee stopped counting. Kingston set up for his finisher, but was distracted by Ricardo. Del Rio hits an insecurity kick in the corner and then pinned Kingston. Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler defeated Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston in 7 minutes 45 seconds. The announcers then hyped Jerry Lawler's return, which sets up the second hour. Vicky Guerrero was shown walking backstage. JR said that they've been told that she has more evidence that she will share after the break as they go to commercial. Well, at least we made it through the match without Orton calling Kingston an idiot or whatever it was. He called him when he got pissed off during a past match they had. The finish was built around the heels having momentum heading into Survivor Series, not around Del Rio being in line for an Intercontinental title shot. I like the in-ring heavy start to start the show. It was a nice change from the usual lengthy promo format. Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero stood back in the ring. Dolph boasted about wrestling 2 matches. He said he's not there to hide behind his former manager, Vicky. He said it was about the truth, and that can't be denied. They aired a shot of Cena and AJ having dinner together. Ziggler mocked Cena for wearing his wrestling gear to dinner. They ran through all the usual footage. Vicky took the mic and drew loud boos. And that's not the booze that you drink. She called for AJ to join them in the ring. AJ made her entrance and questioned why Vicky was doing this. She said Vicky costs her job and has power. Vicky told AJ to be careful what she says because none of it will matter once she discloses her evidence. Vicky looked at AJ and said, "Be very careful of what I'm going to say to you." Oops. She told AJ to admit she had an affair with John Cena. "I admit it." AJ finally responded, "I admit the truth. John Cena and I are just friends." There were a mix of cheers and boos. Not the alcohol brand of booze, but just boo. AJ said nothing inappropriate has ever happened between the two of them. AJ then said Vicky is upset that she was named general manager at Raw 1000. AJ said that she embraces Vicky in the ring twice and could do so again if she wanted to. She said Vicky is throwing her weight around, and that weight is pretty considerable. AJ said Vicky and AJ has caused a mess for herself. Vicky said AJ caused it for herself. Okay, Vicky said she had voicemails that would silence all of the non-believers. First voicemail had AJ saying she's conflicted, and what happened the night before is a mistake. AJ said it was her voice, but she didn't leave that voicemail. Vicky played a second message. AJ said that they have to stop doing it. She said she wants to stop, but when she sees him, she loses control. How did you do that? AJ asked. Vicky cackled and then played another voicemail. You drive me crazy, AJ said in the voicemail. We should be together. AJ accused Vicky of hacking Cena's phone and editing those messages together. Ziegler said no more lies because the cat was out of the bag. Ziegler asked whenever Cena not talking to her all of the nights in his hotel room were more disappointing. And we got John Cena's entrance playing as he headed to the ring. AJ had to stop him from going after Ziegler. AJ turned and struck Ziegler. Then Cena followed up with a punch of his own. Cena's entrance music played to end the segment. AJ has already lost her job at this point. What damn difference does it make if those two slept together? They would be two consenting adults. It annoys me that Cena and AJ don't just say that and move on with their lives. The announcer spoke at ringside and set up a video for Afghanistan Veterans of America. And I believe the tribute to the troops was taped earlier during the summer with all the bands and what have you that were playing. Backstage, Cena told AJ that he's not sure why they are putting her through this. Cena said it's ridiculous because they are making her life miserable over something that didn't happen and never would happen. But never would happen? AJ asked. Cena responded by saying, okay, over something that never happened. He awkwardly said he had to go, and AJ smiled like a love-struck little girl. The old, it's ridiculous, and then wait for the girl to show interest. It worked well in the 7th grade. You got some serious game, John Cena. Match number 3, Big Show versus William Regal. His in-ring return. Show left some serious welts on Regal's chest with some slaps in the corner. Show put Regal away with a choke slam. After the match, Show set up for the knockout punch, but Sheamus ran out and tackled him. Sheamus cleared a Big Show from the ring as they got a commercial. And that match only took a minute 40 seconds. I continue to hope that Sheamus and Regal friendship is just a setup for Regal to turn on Sheamus and join the Wade Barrett act somewhere down the road. What a prediction. As the Brits are coming, the British are coming, Match number 4, Layla versus Caitlyn in the #1 contenders match. Eve was on commentary. She questioned why either woman would get another title shot since she's beaten them both and proven her dominance. Good question. Caitlyn caught Layla diving off the ropes and then performed an inverted DDT for the win. The match only took a minute 10 seconds. And earns a title shot at Survivor Series. So we get another match set for Survivor Series. I wouldn't be surprised if they added another match with the Divas involved just to get them some time. The announcer set up a video that recapped the night Jerry Lawler suffered a heart attack. They showed footage of EMTs treating Lawler at ringside briefly and then rushing him backstage. There were also some multiple shots of Lawler on a stretcher and having CPR performed on him, mixed in with Michael Colesaw's comments that were shown on Raw. I'm still turned off by what WWE even filming that footage, let alone airing it. It makes you wonder whether they have similar footage of Owen Hart. There are just some times in life when the cameras don't need to be rolling, even in this reality television world. Michael Cole saw Jerry Lawler stood in the ring and spoke about Jerry Lawler collapsing on Raw 9 weeks ago. Ross handled the introduction of Lawler, who received a great ovation from the crowd as he entered his music while carrying his usual crown. Lawler slapped hands with the fans at ringside and then joined his broadcast partners in the ring. Lawler entered the ring and gave Ross a big hug. He gave a long look at Michael Cole and then hugged him as well. Ross handed the mic to Lawler, and there were loud Jerry chants from the live crowd. Lawler said it was overwhelming that he can express how much it means. He said there was a time when he felt like this might not be happening, so this was beyond words for him. I got a special appearance from my daughter who wants to say her favorite words in Vicky Guerrero's impersonation.
Excuse me!
One more time for the fans.
Excuse me!
All right, there we go. There we have the excuse me. Go to the bathroom. Little segment. Okay. Okay, Lawler said he wasn't trying to get corny, but he recalled the classic movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you, Caitlin. He said the movie is about a man who didn't know how much his life meant to his family and friends until he had a near-death experience. I, in the past few weeks, have lived that movie, Lawler said. He thanked the fans and said it was great to be back. CM Punk's music played just as Lawler was wrapping up. Punk and Heyman walked onto the stage as Lawler exited the ring. Cole complained about the disrespect that Punk was showing by ruining Lawler's moment. Once in the ring, Punk looked down at Lawler and laughed. Punk said everyone boos him and cheers Lawler because he cheated death. Punk said that Lawler's behavior is disrespectful and in bad taste. Punk said a 62-year-old man putting on his wrestling gear and trying to relive the glory days and thinking he could go toe-to-toe with the WWE champion is disrespectful. Not in my opinion, because I myself still have a shot at my pro wrestling debut on December the 3rd. Well, back to the Raw. Punk said one of the side effects is having a heart attack. Punk scolded the fans for sending him nasty tweets for giving Lawler a heart attack. Blame falls firmly on your shoulders, King, Punk said. He also boasted that he's been WWE champion for 358 days. He said he recently tied Diesel for the 9th longest reign in WWE history. Punk noted that 365 days of his reign will be Monday next week. He said he's glad that the King is back because he'll have a front row seat to watch him beat Ryback and John Cena on Sunday. Just try not to croak before the pay-per-view, okay? Punk said. Lawler told him the only thing on life support is Punk's run as WWE champion. Punk said if Lawler feels that strongly about it, he could get in the ring. Okay, that's enough kisses. Thank you again. Punk was attracted by Paul Heyman coughing. Heyman threw the belt down and fell to the mat, clutching his chest. Punk held up an X symbol. Punk performed CPR on Heyman and called out, "Somebody help! Get the paramedics!" I wonder if he had tongue actions. I didn't get to see that segment. Heyman smiled and sat up. "My God, Paul, you almost gave me a heart attack," Punk said. Mick Foley's music played and he came to the ring to confront Punk and Heyman. Foley said it never ceases to amaze him how someone who demands respect like Punk doesn't give it to someone who commands respect like Lawler. "How about you respect Paul Heyman?" Punk mocked. "This man just had a heart attack and I brought him back to life." Punk questioned what Foley was doing since they are no longer captains of rival teams. Punk told him to worry more about the gaping hole on his team. Foley said he's not worried about it because the fans will be picking the final member for him. Punk told him he shouldn't care about what the WWE Universe thinks because they can't think. Punk told him to rename his team Worthless. Foley eventually told him to shut up. Foley got fired up while yelling that Jerry Lawler was dead. He said it's a miracle he's still with us. Foley said he was overseas fulfilling a commitment to the troops last week when he found out that Vince McMahon changed the Survivor Series match. He said he wasn't happy. Foley said John Cena and Ryback are going to take the title from him. Punk said none of this involves Foley at all. Foley said it actually does. He said he was informed that he will be the special guest enforcer of Punk's match against Cena later on tonight for the main event. They shot then aired of Brad Maddox backstage. Coleslaw said he documented every minute of his day as part of his quest for fame. Damn, I didn't see that one coming. I was surprised when Punk's music hit and shocked by some of the things that he said. I'm not complaining. Punk garnered mega heat and was on fire on the mic. I could have gone without Heyman things, he said. Heyman pretending to have a heart attack. Everything else was money. Punk was fantastic, and Foley was great in defeating Lawler. Backstage, Punk was upset as he told Heyman to fix the situation with Foley as special enforcer and the Brad Maddox situation. As entrances for the next match took place, Coleslaw officially welcomed Lawler back to the broadcast table. JR was no longer at the table. So I'm guessing his job as announcing is done. Especially with football season finishing up. As it should be like halfway through the season, with more like 4 games left. As entrances, okay, Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, and Justin Gabriel versus the primetime players Primo and Epico with Rosa in an 8-man tag match. Ricardo Rodriguez walked to ringside and handed a note to Rosa. Rosa's team wasn't pleased. Mysterio hit a move on one of the heels on the floor. All 8 wrestlers squared off at ringside, heading into a commercial break. Cena lets the girl express interest because he's too afraid to do so, and now Del Rio has his friend pass a note to a girl he likes. The only thing missing from the 7th grade dating life is a phone call that concludes with 5 minutes of "you hang up first," and "no, you hang up first." Well, you got the Daniel Bryan Kane saga too. "I'm the tag team champions." "No, I'm the tag team champions." After the break, the heels worked over Mysterio until he tagged in Kidd, who performed some fast-paced offense on Darren Young. They lost the crowd quickly, but Kidd let out a primal scream to get them cheering again. There were a bunch of rapid-fire spots that cleared everyone from the ring, aside from the 2 legal men. Kidd got Young in position and then tagged in Mysterio for the 619. Mysterio tagged in Gabriel, who performed the 450 splash on Young and got the win for his team. Cole saw hype how action-packed the tag division is and spoke about how it's picking up. So Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, and Justin Gabriel defeated primetime players Primo and Epico in 10 minutes even. Raw needs more of this fast-paced action. Of course, it would help if the majority of the guys involved in these matches were over. Mysterio and Sin Cara are over as a team. Thus until WrestleMania, the players are getting there, but the other teams are just kind of lost in the shuffle right now. Nevertheless, a good high-energy match. Millions of dollars. We got to make millions of dollars. That's my version of it. The camera showed military members in the crowd as Justin Roberts issued a thank you on behalf of WWE, and the fans chanted, "USA! USA!" Backstage, Brad Maddox was shown being filmed by his personal cameraman. Paul Heyman approached Maddox and asked the cameraman to turn the camera off. The cameraman obliged. Heyman asked Maddox to walk with him. Commercial break. For the record, if I tried to tell my girlfriend you hang up first today, I doubt I could get you out before I'd hear the click. Well, that's from the reporter. And my ex-wife, soon to be. That's what I would say. The latest Fandango, well, heck, she don't even answer my phone calls. Well, so it don't matter. The latest Fandango video aired. It showed Johnny Curtis dancing with a woman and then delivering. "Do you mind if I cut in line?" They dropped the extra 0 from last week, or O from last week. Apparently, Johnny Curtis is no longer opulent, so he's just pulent. Or opulent. Backstage segment with The Miz was on the telephone telling someone that he will find a way to Impact Survivor Series. Dolph Ziggler showed up and said he knew it was only a matter of time before Miz would show up begging to be part of his team. Miz mocked Ziggler for losing to Orton and getting slapped by a girl, then they bickered. Foley showed up and Ziggler mocked him for leaving his Survivor Series team in the hands of the fans. Foley challenged him to a preview tag match with the Rhodes Scholars versus Kane and the winner of the fan vote. Ziggler accepted the match. Miz lobbied Foley to put him on the ballot. God bless you, Caitlin. Foley said he doesn't like his chances, but he added him anyway. At ringside, Foley said Twitter followers could vote for Santino Marella, Zack Ryder, or The Miz. Coleslaw announced Antonio Cesaro versus R-Truth for the U.S. title at Survivor Series. R-Truth made his entrance for a match. Antonio Cesaro came out and said he could see through Truth's song and dance, and he mocked Truth for speaking to a boy who doesn't exist. He said Truth is a once proud superstar who became a joke and compared it to how the United States was a proud country that became a joke as they go to commercial break. After the break, you got R-Truth versus Tensai. The match was joined already in progress. Cesaro was on commentary. The announcers mocked him for having a man purse. He said it's a satchel. Truth hit his finisher for the win. Cesaro started to cut another promo, but Truth cut him off and told him a knock-knock joke. He said, knock-knock. And the crowd says, who's there?
Me.
And he goes, Europe. Everybody goes, Europe who? You're peeing my face right now. Was the punchline. Truth said he's going to become a two-time U.S. champion on Sunday. A shot aired of Maddox being followed around by his personal cameraman. Satchel jokes. Hey, Vince McMahon finally saw the hangover. That segment would have been so much better if Sakamoto would have been had his ass handed to him afterwards. I still miss you, Sakamoto. Meanwhile, Maddox's cameraman should be a regular part of the act. The current guy seems a little bland for the role. I'm thinking Ralphus, 2012. You know, the roadie type deal with Jericho. Highlights aired of Brad Maddox promo from last week. Footage aired from earlier in the show with Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler tearing into AJ until John Cena came out. Footage aired of the Lawler, Punk, and Foley segment. Brad Maddox was introduced with no music. An ambulance siren played. As I was thinking it was real, as I was looking out my window when I was doing my video from last night from the Impact results from last Thursday, very late because I hadn't had the internet in quite a few days. Well, Alberto Del Rio's cars are normally parked. Coleslaw said Maddox had a cameraman following him for a YouTube show that is documenting him. A Maddox pop-up box promo aired. He said people think he was delivering his final words, but he wasn't. He said no one would forget his name after Raw. Match number 7, Ryback versus Brad Maddox. EMTs wheeled a stretcher to ringside before the bell sounded. Maddox fled to ringside. Coleslaw quickly noted that Maddox won't get his $1 million contract if he's counted out. He said Maddox was charging fans $10 for an autographed headshot and $20 for an action shot. Ryback finally got his hands on Maddox about 100 seconds into the match. The fans counted along while Ryback picked up Maddox and dropped him on his back and hid. You're dead, Ryback told Maddox. He picked him up and delivered a power slam. The fans started a Phoebe Moore chant. Ryback clotheslined Maddox to the floor. Ryback slammed Maddox down with 3 power bombs. And then Ryback performed the meat hook clothesline and finished him off with a shell shot. After the match, Maddox was placed on a stretcher. Ryback tipped over the stretcher and then threw Maddox into the guardrail. Ryback then clotheslined Maddox again and then yelled, I hit hard. Ryback picked up Maddox and carried him until slamming him into the ambulance. Ryback picked up Maddox again and threw him inside the ambulance and closed the door. Must have been an ambulance match. And he pinned Maddox in 5 minutes 30 seconds. The fans seemed mostly indifferent to Maddox. WWE could have put some heat on Maddox had they shown him doing everything Cole said he did. Good news is that Ryback was over big. I like the new touch of Ryback moving his arm to encourage the Feed Me More chants during his matches. Well, that's just his taunt. Feed me more.
Feed me more.
Feed me more. Match number 8, Sheamus versus David Otunga. William Regal, Mike McGillicuddy, and Otunga were shown watching the match backstage. Sheamus performed the white noise and followed up with a brogue kick for the win. Afterwards, Sheamus said he hopes the Big Show was watching because that's what's going to happen to him at Survivor Series when he takes his World Heavyweight title back. Camera showed Big Show beating up William Regal backstage and dropping him with a knockout punch. And Sheamus ran backstage to help as they go to commercial. But Sheamus pinned Otunga in 2 minutes 35 seconds. They haven't done enough to establish Sheamus and Regal friendship to make the average viewer care when Show beats up Regal. For the matter, They haven't positioned Regal as a likable enough character to make him seem sympathetic. Backstage segment again, Josh Matthews said the early speculation was that Regal suffered a concussion. Him on behalf of the NFL quarterback on Sunday had a broken jaw. A Wound Warriors Foundation video aired. Backstage segment, Daniel Bryan was upset that Kane was teaming with another man. He turned his back while being passive-aggressive. Kane was gone when he turned around. Bryan yelled, "No, no, no!" Borgasm. Team Rhodes Scholars made their entrance. Cole Saw noted that Kane and Bryan better get on the same page because they have to defend their tag titles on the main event this week. Kane came out, and The Miz received 60% of the fan vote, so he's in the match. Ryder got 34%. Santino only got 6% of the vote. Miz makes his entrance. Daniel Bryan came out and plastered on a fake smile while shaking Miz's hand as they go to commercial. Miz and Kane with Daniel Bryan at ringside versus Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes, the Rhodes Scholars. Match was already joined in progress. Bryan sat down on a chair next to Cole Saw and Lawler and cheered for Kane and Miz in an over-the-top manner. A Miz's Awesome Chant broke out. Wow, he's actually got face cheers. Late in the match, Bryan went after the Miz. The Miz whipped him into Rhodes, which knocked Cody into the ring post. Miz threw Rhodes back inside the ring. Kane chokeslammed Rhodes for the win. Bryan entered the ring and raised Kane's arm and jumped up and down. Miz held up Kane's other arm. Cole Saw spoke over the whole thing by talking about tribute to the troops. Kane and the Miz defeated Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. Didn't get the time on that. A tribute to the troops video airing. The announcers hyped Cena versus Punk with Foley as a personal enforcer commercial break. A jealous Daniel Bryan is way over the top and yet so much fun. They picked the right state to go with Miz in this role given that he's from Ohio. It will be interesting to see whether they use him at the SmackDown tapings in Cleveland tomorrow night in an attempt to capture some hometown love on the Go Home show. WWE hasn't done good of making Punk versus Cena feel important. Punk was focused on Lawler and Foley, while Cena was focused on Vicky, Dolph, and his junior high crush on AJ. Match number 10. CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus John Cena non-title match with Mick Foley as special enforcer. There were loud Cena sucks chants to encounter the Let's Go Cena chants. They took a commercial break just over a minute into the match. After the break, Punk took control of the offense. Heyman caressed the title belt like he was making love with it, just holding his eyes above the belt. And he looked over the top of it to watch the entire match. Punk cut off a brief Cena flurry and went for a top rope elbow drop, Macho Man style. Cena rolled out of the way of the elbow. Foley pounded on the mat in support of Cena, cheering him up, who eventually went for an attitude adjustment and then was shut down by Punk, which blocked. Punk then locked in a kind of device at 10 minutes and 10 seconds of the match. Cena backed up and put his foot on the ropes to break the hold. Punk went for a springboard move. Cena avoided it and applied the STF after Punk crashed to the mat. Heyman entered the ring with the title belt. Cena released the hold. Foley took out Heyman with a foot from outside the ring. Punk caught Cena with a kick for a near fall. Punk went for the GTS, but Cena countered into the STF on the way down. Punk crawled toward the corner and reached the ropes in front of Foley to break the hold. Really good drama with the submission attempts. Punk left the ring and started to walk toward the back, but Ryback walked out, kept him at ringside. Cena rolled Punk back into the ring. Punk went for the GTS, but Cena avoided it and hit the attitude adjustment for the win. And Cena pinned CM Punk in a non-title match at 13 minutes 20 seconds with the outside help distraction from Ryback. After the match, Ryback entered the ring and glared at Cena as the title belt was between them. Ryback nodded his head and said, feed me more, feed me more. As a fan, yep. They both picked up the title belt simultaneously. Punk reached in, but dropped off the apron when they noticed he was trying to reach the belt himself. saying, "It's mine, it's mine." Cena and Ryback dropped the belt and picked it up again so that it was right side up. Punk stood on the apron so they could go off the air with a shot of Ryback, and Cena pulling on opposite sides of the belt with Punk saying, "It's mine," in the background. Well, it's a good TV main event. It just didn't feel like the major event that it should be whenever Punk and Cena have a singles match. It was pretty comical that Ryback and Cena had the belt upside down. Cena called the order to drop the belt and then said go when it was time for them to pick it up again. And there was much talking during the match, as you could definitely tell. Cena was talking and telling Punk when to do his moves. The return of Jerry Lawler felt so important when the night started, yet it felt like we were back to business as usual by the time the show was over. The Punk angle was good for serious heat. It also took away from the feel-good nature of Lawler's return. One has to wonder whether WWE would have Paul Heyman fake a heart attack had this show been held prior to Election Day. The final segment was clumsy, yet sent a final reminder of the Survivor Series main event. And that ends my Raw results and Superstars spoilers from the Raw tapings. Stay tuned for Impact spoilers as well as SmackDown spoilers. SmackDown NXT. I did get the NXT from last week's results from Daily Motion website. Thanks for doing. Peace out.